So we're going to be talking about some information that has been withheld from most Christians, from Christianity. Definitely a conspiracy. It's all a conspiracy, according to the Bible, from the beginning, right? And we're going to be talking about the Feast of Trumpets, also known as the Day of Shouting, the Day of the Trumpet Blast, the Hidden Day, the day that no man knows the day or the hour, and the time of the last trump. Now, hopefully you heard all those terms correctly, because all those terms are all the terms that are used for the rapture by Jesus and by Paul. That's right. Every single term that's used in the Bible about the rapture is talking about the Feast of Trumpets. All of it. All of it. For instance, most of you guys know on this channel that the Feast of Trumpets is known as the day that no man knows the day or hour. Go figure, right? That's life-changing information right there for a Christian. Because that's the first thing that everybody says, well, we don't know when exactly it is, because no man knows the day or the hour. I would raise my hand and say, do you know that the Feast of Trumpets is known as the day that no man knows the day or hour? Because the start of the Feast of Trumpets is based off the sighting of the new moon. And the new moon comes out within 2 days. And you have to watch for it. And nobody knows when it's exactly going to come out. Hence, no man knows the day within those 2 days or the hour. Go figure, right? It's also known as the Day of Shouting. What does 1 Thessalonians 4 say? That Jesus descends from heaven with a shout, with the voice of the archangel. I mean, there's 2 down, right? 2 strikes, right? It's also known as the Hidden Day. Well, we know we're going to be hidden, right? The Hidden Day. Because that's also, connected to the new moon. It is hidden until it's not, right? The new moon. So that's 3. Then it's also known as the Day of the Trumpet Blast. Well, that's all about the 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, verses 16 and 17, right? And lastly, it is known for the last trump. Because at the Feast of Trumpets, they do 100 trumpet blasts. And the 100th trumpet blast is called the last trump. Go figure again, right? Go figure. And again, you're not going to be told this by Christianity. But just knowing those things, it is clearly, without any doubt, obviously when the harpazo of the church is. Clearly. And the enemy knows that if people just knew this information on this little short video that I just said, they would know. There would be no doubt, and they would be aware. And that's exactly why most of Christians don't know this. That's it. And that's what I wanted to make this little short video about. The Feast of Trumpets. In the name itself is the word trumpets. Trumpets. I mean, at the last trump, we shall all be changed. Jesus descends from heaven with the voice of the archangel, with the shout, with the trump of God. Come on. It's painfully obvious that the rapture is at the Feast of Trumpets. And then if you do just a little tiny Google search, it tells you that is the beginning of the time of judgment and the beginning of the time of repentance. Well, gee whiz. Isn't that too perfect? And at that time, in the heavens, it's the sign Libra. And what is Libra? Libra is scales. What is scales? Well, it means judgment. Judgment. It is so on in September. And a lot of people on the internet know this, kind of. Like a lot of people who talk about the feast days. Again, these are not Israel's feast days for people that are like dispensationalists and stuff like this. Read the Bible, man. It says that these were God's holy days that he gave or entrusted to Israel. They're not Israel's. They're God's that he entrusted to them. So they existed before the idea of the nation of Israel pops up in the Bible. They were God's before them. And then he entrusted them to Israel. And you get into dispensationalism and you won't hear about this. Maybe every now and then. But 95 of dispensationalists, oh, those are for the Jews. No, they were God's. They're appointed times. And that's even what the word seasons means, or season. Season in Hebrew means moed. Moed means appointed time or appointed feast days. That's what season means. It doesn't mean, it can also mean summer, winter, fall, and spring, but it also means feast days, appointed times. And what you hear from so many people, we don't know exactly the day or the hour. You know, and it's so funny because these guys, you know, that are always talking about the rapture online and stuff like this, they know this information. Anybody can know it that looks it up, but they know it. And you even hear them not talk about it. Why? Because they're off in Wonderland trying to sell another rapture date that isn't the Feast of Trumpets. Just like this whole new wine business that I told you like 2 weeks ago was not going to happen. Today is new wine, and tomorrow is new wine. And I'm still here, and I'll still be here. And that's why they don't bother talking about this information all the time like they should be talking about it all the time. They should be talking about it on every video, talking about the rapture. That every single thing that is said about the rapture is referring to the Feast of Trumpets. The day that no man knows the day or the hour. The time where there's a last trump. The hidden day. The day of shouting. The day of the trumpet blast. All those references are talked about in the Bible referring to the rapture and the Feast of Trumpets. Yet all these guys don't talk about it every time they talk about the rapture because they're trying to sell you another date 2 weeks from now, and then another 3 weeks from now, and then 2 more weeks from now. Look, there are people that really hate the rapture community, watcher guys, right? And I get it. Trust me. I'm partially in that group because of what they've done. However, I have been led to also find out much information about the rapture and watch for it and tell you guys when it is and what's going on. All this information. So yes, I'm also a rapture watcher, but I have nothing to do with them. And I've made that clear in some of my other videos. I'm not a part of them. Not at all. Because even, like I said, all you got to do is scroll down my channel 2.5 years ago. And I was pointing, I made about 5 to 7 videos saying that I believed that the rapture was going to be in 2025 at the Feast of Trumpets. I did not ever do what they did. Never. The whole life of this channel, this is my second channel on YouTube, I never did what they did. And I never would jump from date to date to date to date to date to date to date over the years. Never did that. If you look in 2024 in my videos, I talked about Passover. Because the April 8th eclipse, there was so much around it. I was like, gee whiz, this is interesting, because is this going to be the rapture? But I knew, in the video I even said, I'm not saying it is. I'm saying it's possible, but we'll just have to wait and see. So I talked about the April 8th eclipse and Passover at that time. And then last year, Feast of Trumpets, I talked a little bit about it, showed some things that I found. But I always knew from 2.5 years ago, or I'll say it like this, my heart was always in 2025. 2.5 years ago. Go look on any of these guys' channel. All of them. Should I name names? Did they ever do that? Did they ever tell you, I think the rapture is 2.5 years from now? With any video? Never! First of all, because they couldn't see it. But even if they could see it, they wouldn't have told you. They went from date to date to date to date to date. And that's all they did. And they, I believe, it's a lack of wisdom. It's not a lack of knowledge. It's not a lack of knowledge, because they knew this information a long time, probably even before I knew it. I know some of those guys watch my videos. I don't really care. I never did what they did to people. And they're still doing it to people. They're doing it up to the very end. Because now it was new wine, right? Oh, Barry All and all these people, new wine. Here we are, new wine day. And tomorrow, and it ain't going to happen. You see, you don't know how many people are part of the government. The satanic government, to do this on purpose. Some of them probably are. How can you have no shame and do what they do? I don't know, man. I don't know how they do that. No apologies, no shame, nothing. They're just too many to name. But tell you guys, here we are. September, here we come.